بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين. Brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum. Ramadan Kareem. Hope you are all keeping well during the lockdown. May Allah accept all your deeds and a'mal and your fast, inshallah. I want to take this opportunity to congratulate you all on the birth anniversary of Imam Hassan alayhi salam, the first grandson of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and the first child of Imam Ali and Lady Fatima alayhum salam. This was one of the happiest occasions in the entire life of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and it is an honor for the Lebanese Youth Foundation and our guests and our audience to celebrate this occasion with you today, inshallah. For the first segment of our program, inshallah, I will be bringing Brother Ahmad. Ahmad, I caught you off guard.
Yeah, it's okay.
Assalamu alaikum, Habibi. How are you, bro?
Alhamdulillah, how are you?
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. Inshallah, Ahmad, you can bless us with your beautiful recitation of the Holy Quran for the next 10 to 15 minutes, and I will come off the screen.
Thank you. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. إنما المؤمنون الذين آمنوا بالله ورسوله إنما المؤمنون الذين آمنوا بالله ورسوله ثم لم يرتابوا وجاهدوا بأموالهم وأنفسهم في سبيل الله أولئك هم الصادقون. إنما المؤمنون الذين آمنوا بالله ورسوله ثم لم يرتابوا وجاهدوا بأموالهم وأنفسهم في سبيل الله أولئك هم الصادقون وجاهدوا بأموالهم وأنفسهم في سبيل الله أولئك هم الصادقون قل أتعلمون الله بدينكم والله يعلم وجاهدوا بأموالهم وأنفسهم في سبيل الله أولئك هم الصادقون قل أتعلمون الله بدينكم والله يعلم قل أتعلمون الله بدينكم والله يعلم ما في السماوات وما في الأرض والله بكل شيء عليم قل أتعلمون الله بدينكم والله يعلم ما في السماوات وما في الأرض قل أتعلمون الله بدينكم والله يعلم ما في السماوات وما في الأرض والله بكل شيء عليم يمنون عليك أن أسلموا قل لا تمنوا علي إسلامكم قل لا تمنوا علي إسلامكم بل الله يمن عليكم أن هداكم للإيمان إن كنتم صادقين إن الله يعلم غيب السماوات والأرض والله بصير بما تعملون والله بصير بما تعملون والله بصير بما تعملون بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قاف والقرآن المجيد يمنون عليك أن أسلموا قل لا تمنوا علي إسلامكم قل لا تمنوا علي إسلامكم بل الله يمن عليكم أن هداكم للإيمان إن كنتم صادقين إن الله يعلم غيب السماوات والأرض والله بصير بما تعملون والله بصير بما تعملون بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قاف والقرآن المجيد صدق الله العلي العظيم اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد
اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد. أحسنت حبيبي. That was a beautiful recitation. For those who are joining us, it's brother Ahmad Al-Moalem. Make sure you check him out on YouTube and Facebook for more Qur'an recitation. He has a few videos that he has released this Ramadan. Without further ado, I'd like to welcome on brother Ali Al-Hadi. Let's get the right banner up first of all. There you go. Brother Ali is a dear friend and part of the LYF family, and also a a reciter. Inshallah, you'll be doing this Mawled justice by reciting for us today. So without any further delay, please صل على محمد وآل محمد.
I welcome the guest with the utmost delight, for I know it's here to bring respect. The shines bright on the shadow. Starlight and dark fills the air. Your starlight spread from everywhere. Across to every single shadow.
Ahmad, sorry to Ali, sorry to interrupt. The sound, I think the sound is it's not coming out very well. It's intermittent. So it's cutting. Yeah, yeah.
Ooh.
Everyone's complaining about the sound. Sorry. I think you have to speak into the when Brother Ahmad was reciting, it was working. I think you just need to recite into the mic, and I think the sound in the background is not coming out too great.
Just give me a second. Let's just try to see what happens if we switch microphone. Because we're actually in the studio right now, so maybe it's the microphone that's.
So just bear with us, everyone. Modern technology.
Don't worry, we'll repeat everything. Don't worry. Inshallah, you'll get everything again.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So the sound right now when you're speaking is great.
Bismillah. So everything should come from this microphone right now that I'm speaking into. Is it fine now? Is it louder?
It sounds good.
Yeah. So just let's do a small test again. Ramadan. How's that? The music.
Yep.
The piano is clear. Okay. This is Ramadan, the month of mercy, the pious and righteous come to meet. Ramadan, Mashallah. Feeling of joy now fills my heart as the month of Ramadan will start. So let us pray and praise God. Ramadan, Mashallah. You put smiles upon every face and help us feel Holy grace, your light that was with your embrace. Mother Michelle, when you washed the word of Joan Ramadan, كف من الغيب حنى رمضان شهر الله والوجد والرد والرجال رمضان شهر الله كف من الغيب حنان. I welcome the guest with utmost delight, for I know it's here to bring respect. A God that shines bright, Ramadan Shalom. Starlight and love fills the air, starlight spreads love everywhere, bringing us joy every single year. Ramadan Shalom. I want Brother Kassem to jump on again and tell me if everything's alright, because I can't hear myself.
Hassan, there was just a little bit of parts where it went intermittent, but then it got better. It got better. I think
Okay.
it's much better than
Maybe
before.
yeah, I'm so sorry about this, but I think maybe it's the connection. I don't know. It should be good enough, but maybe it's just not working. Anyways,
Mashallah.
so this was a Ramadan themed kind of song, Nasheed. And this one is going to be about Imam Rida alayhi salam. Once from love, once to not knocking of hearts. If any are left in sorrow, tell them Rida. I wish to think he's found with no family member. If any are left in sorrow, tell them Rida. Oh, baby, stranger, but not any stranger. In our eyes, he comforts every heart where a stranger lies calling. Stranger, but not a stranger. In our eyes, he comforts every heart that a stranger lies. If any are in sorrows, tell them Rida. Who in his life anything was pleased, leaves not a storytelling from his grave. Oh, pleased with no family, was by others, he was teased with so many daughters. Now can he displeased all day, strangers, if no one is lonely enough? Oh, and I swear I do not see a stranger home, a stranger, but not a stranger. In our eyes, he comforts every heart where a stranger lies. If any are left in sorrows, tell them and I need the brother Habibi, Sumi, if you can return back.
Alaikum assalam, Habibi.
I'm fine.
I am getting a lot of messages that the sound is unclear and intermittent from their side. It's very hard for them. I think the music in the background is
It's overlapping, maybe.
it's making the voice unclear, and yeah, they're having a hard time.
Okay. Well, now we're gonna go for the Ramadan trio. The vocals. It's gonna be without any instruments.
Okay.
With me and brother Ahmad. أذن جبريل بوادينا قد أقبل شهر الرحمن أذن جبريل بوادينا قد أقبل شهر الرحمن ففرح القلب وقل بك يا أيام الغفران يفرح يا قلب وقل أهلا بك يا أيام الغفران أذن جبريل بوادينا أذن جبريل بوادينا الحمد لك والشكر لك أنعمت بالخير العميم منك الجزاء ما أعد لك رحمك بارينا العظيم الحمد لك والشكر لك أنعمت بالخير العميم منك الجزاء ما أعد لك رحمك بارينا العظيم رمضان تجلى وابتسم طوبى للعبد إذا تنمى رمضان تجلى وابتسم طوبى للعبد إذا تنام فالخير وفير إن صرما ينجي المأثوم من النار هل الهلال يزفه شعبان فتزينت بجماله الأكوان هل الهلال يزفه شعبان فتزينت بجماله الأكوان يا نسيم السحر يا ضياء البدر يا نسيم السحر يا ضياء البدر يا رب املأ صدري من سنة رمضان املأ صدري من سنة رمضان. That was the thank you so much. That was the Anasheed section. I think that's it for today. I'm so sorry that some of you missed the first part, but I can assure you that more will come, inshallah. Brother Ahmad will be reciting at the end after this lecture, inshallah.
Ahsant,
Right?
ahsant. I think this part was beautiful and the sound was very clear and we got some good feedback. Unfortunately, with everyone at home trying to tune into the internet, it's factors beyond our control with the internet connection. Inshallah, we'll move on to Sayyid Ahsan Makki now, if he's ready. And we'll come back to Brother Ahmad Al-Moalem, who will bless us with some ataba to end this Mawled.
Inshallah.
Sayyid Ahsan Makki, are you with us? Assalamu alaikum, Sayyid.
Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullah.
How are you, Sayyid? I know this is iftar time for you, and we're getting you to go on live.
I just had my iftar. Little rice cake.
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah. We thank you so much for your patience, and obviously, you know, we're prolonging your fasting a little bit longer, or you've broken your fast, but you're not having a beautiful meal right now with your wife. But without further delay, we'll get you, Sayyid, to start your talk, inshallah, so you can go and have iftar afterwards.
Kassem, can you hear me well? Am I clear?
We can hear you very well. Your sound is good.
Okay. Because I can't hear anything. Let me just see.
Sayyid, can you hear me? Can you hear me, Sayyid?
Kassem, can you message me on the phone just to let me know? Because I can't hear you. Can you let me know if I'm good to start? Ya Allah. Okay. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen wa sallallahu ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa alihi at-tayyibin at-tahirin. اللهم اخرجنا من ظلمات الوهم واكرمنا بنور الفهم. اللهم افتح علينا ابواب رحمتك وانصر علينا. اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما. Brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I congratulate you all on the auspicious occasion of the birth of our second Imam, Imam Al-Hassan Al-Mujtaba alayhi salam. On the 15th of Shahr Ramadan, it's reported that 3 years after the Hijrah, 3 years after the Muslims had left Mecca and settled in Medina, after the Battle of Badr, and of course, on the 2nd year after Hijrah is when Imam Ali alayhi salam and Sayyidah Fatima alayhi salam got married. So the 3rd year after Hijrah was the birth of this young prince. And when he was born, Sayyidah Fatima alayhi salam had him in her arms. And she handed him over to her husband, Ali ibn Abi Talib. And she told him, don't you want to name him? And so Imam Ali alayhi salam says, I will not name him without Rasulullah. And so he waits until Rasulullah approaches. And as Nabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam comes in and they hand the baby to him, as they're handing the baby, Rasulullah says, Hat ibni. He says, give my son to me. Hat ibni. From the very first moment of his birth. He called him his son. And I'm going to focus on this point throughout the lecture. He says, Hat ibni. He takes the young boy and he says, Ya Ali, did you name him? And Ali said, I wouldn't name him without you, Ya Rasulullah. And so the blessed Prophet says, I will not name him without Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And so Jibreel descends. And Jibreel sends his salam upon Rasulullah and then says to him, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has said that Ali is to you as Harun is to Musa. And so name the son of Ali the same as the son of Harun. And so Rasulullah asks Jibreel, what is the name of the son of Harun, Ya Jibreel? And so Jibreel says his name is Shubbar. And the Prophet replies, Bilisan in Arabic, in an Arabic tongue, what's the name of Shubbar in Arabic? And Jibreel says, it is Al-Hassan. And as we know, Shubbar wa Shubayr are the sons of Harun, and in Arabic they become Hassan wa Hussain. So he names him Al-Hassan. And this blessed boy, along with his younger brother, become known as the princes of paradise, that Rasulullah would name them his sons wherever he went. And he was extremely proud of them, not simply because they are the sons of his daughter. And this is the point that I want to focus on. In Arabia, in those times, it wasn't seen as though if you had a daughter and she had children, those were not really regarded as your grandchildren even, let alone your children. Because in those times, they regarded your legacy to be passed on through your sons. Anything from your daughters was not really yours anymore. And that's why it was a shame, if you will, to have children who were daughters. And that's why they would bury certain girls alive, and why they would fear their women being taken hostage or taken by other tribes, taken as slaves. So it was not looked upon as a blessing when you had a daughter, which in Islam we see a daughter is a blessing. Rasulullah came to change things, but not simply with his words, not simply with his teachings, but Rasulullah came to change things with his life. So as they would mock Rasulullah, they would make fun of Rasulullah because he did not have a legacy. Because whenever he had children from Sayyidah Khadija alayhi salam, they would pass away in the young age. When he lost Al-Qasim or Ibrahim at a young age, they were not even 2 years old when they passed away. So Rasulullah was deprived of sons. Yet Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala twists things and shows the people a new teaching through the life of Rasulullah. That when Sayyidah Fatima alayhi salam, who comes from heaven, from the fruit of heaven, from the fruit of paradise, when she's in the womb of her mother, when Rasulullah comes and says to her, this young child is the child by which our legacy will come from. Our progeny will come from this child. Sayyidah Zahra alayhi salam was the chosen child as a young girl to change the mindset in pre-Islamic Arabia, and of course inshallah later on the world. Sayyidah Zahra alayhi salam became the focal point, the center by which Imama was to come forth. When Rasulullah would call them his sons, it wasn't simply because they are the sons of his daughter either. So first of all, we have the notion that this was interesting that he would call them his sons when this wasn't the idea at the time. This wasn't the known way in which you would refer to the children of your daughter at the time. At the same time, he wouldn't call them that simply because they are Sayyidah Fatima's children. Rasulullah would call them his sons because they are their heirs to his teachings, to his piety, to his way of life, to Islam. And so the connection between Prophet Muhammad and Al-Hassan wal Hussain was a spiritual connection before connection of blood. And Rasulullah wanted to show this. And that's why he would focus so much on calling them his sons, and to make obvious that their traits are his traits. So he would say to Imam Hassan alayhi salam, Ashbahtu khuluqi wa khalqi. You resemble me in my behavior. You resemble me in my ethics. He would say, Hassan has my hayba. He has my aura. He has my presence. Here, he even would point towards the imama of Al-Hassan alayhi salam. He focused on this a lot. He took them to teach them the same way he taught Imam Ali alayhi salam. Because Rasulullah was 30 years old when Imam Ali was born, and he raised him. He also raised Al-Hassan wal Hussain. And he would say about Imam Al-Hassan alayhi salam, قَوْلُهُ قَوْلِي. His word is my word. وَأَمْرُهُ أَمْرِي. His command is my command. مَنْ تَبِعَهُ مِنِّي. Whoever follows him is from me. وَمَنْ عَصَاهُ لَيْسَ مِنِّي. and he who disobeys Al-Hassan is not from me. So when we say Husaynun minni wa ana min Hussain, likewise when it comes to Imam Hassan alayhi salam, he says, he who goes with him is from me, and he who does not go with him is not from me. And these resemble the words that he said in Al-Ghadir when he lifted the arms of Imam Ali alayhi salam, Allahumma wali man wala wa adi man ada. The same way, because he was pointing towards the imamah, that divine right, that leadership that they inherited through their spiritual connection, through who they were as people, not simply because they were born to the certain family. So these are the 2 points that we want to establish first of all. That Rasulullah, in his approach towards his grandchildren, recognizing them as his sons, not only his grandsons, but as his sons, it changed the mindset of the Muslims, of the Arabs. That now, when anyone had a daughter, then they would see this as a blessing. And they would know that their family comes from their daughters as well as their sons. That it wasn't that he removed the superficial understanding through his life. You know, we say actions speak louder than words. Through his actions, he showed a difference in mindset, so that the pre-Islamic Arabians now were to lead a new life when it comes to the structure of the family. Secondly, the second point we want to establish is that this connection between Rasulullah and Imam al-Hassan and Imam al-Hussain alayhi salam was not a connection based on blood only. It was a connection based on them being the heirs of his knowledge, of his piety, of his God consciousness, and of his teachings. This is what we want to establish. Now, when it comes to Imam Ali alayhi salam, Imam Ali, when we look at history, because this is what I wanted to do today, I wanted to look at a few points in history, discuss them, and see why is it that Imam al-Hassan, it could be argued, is the greatest proof of divine leadership. He's the greatest argument one has to show how Islam must be leaded. When it comes to Imam Ali and the historians, whether they are Muslim or non-Muslim, there is an opinion, a prevalent opinion, especially amongst the non-Shia scholars who are Muslim, about Imam Ali. Of course, we know Imam Ali is the fourth Khalifa, according to other schools. They say that Imam Ali was a very stubborn person. He was very harsh. He was extremely harsh upon himself and extremely harsh upon others. And if he thought something was right, he would follow that to the end. And it would not matter how many people would die on the way. Even if tens and hundreds of thousands of people were going to die, Imam Ali alayhi salam would sacrifice that in order to prove a certain point. And so he was very uncompromising, very unflexible. He was too idealistic. He wanted to do everything 100% the right way. So he would not take any shortcuts. So when it comes to him and Muawiyah, he would not compromise with Muawiyah. He would not compromise with Abu Sufyan. He would not compromise with anyone, even if it would lead to an easier result or a short-lived peace. Because he was too stubborn, he was too idealistic, he was too harsh on himself. He took the hard way every time. Now, of course, when it comes to what the followers of Imam Ali alayhi salam say, we say it's because he was principled, not because he was stubborn. It's because he was principled and he believed in divine right. Because if he was to take any shortcuts, this would contradict his mission in the first place. If his mission now is ta'wil ad-din, he needs to explain the religion. And then Abu Sufyan comes and tells him, like in Saqifa, Abu Sufyan tells him, I will bring you 1,000 warriors. Just say the word, because me and you, we are the sons of Abboud Munaf. We come from the same lineage. So the Khilafah is for you and I, Bani Umayyah and Banu Hashim. It's not for the other people from the other clans of the Quraysh. So just let me know and let me bring you the warriors. Imam Ali says to him, Innama anta munafiq. You are a hypocrite. Why? Yeah, Abu Sufyan, if I wanted to think like Quraysh, I could bring 1,000 warriors. If I wanted to make this tribal, if I wanted to make this about clans and names and lineage, I can do this without you. I'm from Banu Hashim anyway. If I want to do this, I know, if I take the Khilafah, next year you're going to want it. Or at least when I die, your son's going to want it. And then they're going to swap between my lineage and your lineage. This is not what Allah wanted though. Allah did not say this is a family inheritance. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said this is a divine right given to the heirs of the knowledge of Rasulullah. Imam Ali was the first heir of knowledge to Rasulullah. Al-Hassan was the second and Hussain was the third. Abu Sufyan makhassu. He was not part of the deal. Imam Ali, if he was to negotiate and to take shortcuts with these people, it would defeat the purpose of his role. Then what difference would it make between him and Muawiyah in the end? If everything is masalih, everything is about give and take, and I scratch your back and you scratch mine. That's not how Imam Ali alayhi salam works. However, other historians believe that it's because he was so stubborn and so harsh. Okay. When it comes to the caliphs, the first Khalifa, they would say, is superior to Ali ibn Abi Talib because he was so pragmatic, because he knew how to speak to people. He was a people person. There would be no suffering, there would be no wars, there would be no killing as much as when there was in the time of Ali, because he's not always taking the route of most hardship just to prove a point. He's not stubborn like Ali is, a'udhu billah. Likewise, the second Khalifa is also superior because in his time there was a lot more peace, everything was more settled. But then when Ali came, he caused so much disruption. They'd say Uthman, either Uthman is the same as Ali or Ali may be better. We don't know. That's the prevalent opinion by these historians. So we come to Imam Al-Hassan alayhi salam, and then these historians, what do they say? They say, Imam Al-Hassan was different to his father. Where Imam Ali was uncompromising, where Imam Ali was difficult, unflexible, Imam Al-Hassan is compromising. Imam Al-Hassan is pragmatic. Imam Al-Hassan is not idealistic like his father. Imam Ali was not well dressed. Imam Al-Hassan is well dressed. Imam Ali would eat very, he would never have a fancy meal. He would invite other people to eat with him, but they would eat what he would eat, dry bread. Imam Al-Hassan was known for good meals. He would have fancy meals and he would invite people to eat from the meals, but they would be fancy meals. This is because they say he is different to his father. Imam Al-Hassan is different to Imam Ali. He enjoyed life a bit more. That's why he went towards the treaty with Muawiyah. He wanted peace. He wanted there to be calmness between the Muslims. He did not see that it was wise to sacrifice thousands of lives to prove a point, like his father did. Then Imam Al-Hassan passes away. Imam Al-Hussein enters the frame. Imam Al-Hussein becomes the Imam of his time. He becomes the leader. The people follow him. Imam Al-Hussein takes us back to his father. Imam Al-Hussein is uncompromising like Ali is. Imam Al-Hussein is stubborn like Ali is. Imam Al-Hussein does not fear battle like his father. Imam Al-Hussein was ready to die and sacrifice his whole family and seek martyrdom to prove a point. Imam Al-Hussein was staunch and harsh. He took us back to the time of Ali. Now, there is no consistency between these three personalities according to this understanding of history. If we look at our understanding of history and we begin to ask the question, could it be this way? Because aren't they all one nur? Aren't they all inspired by one principle? Isn't that what we are taught? أولنا محمد وأوسطنا محمد وآخرنا محمد وكلنا محمد. That we believe that all the Imams, they are manifestations, if you will, they're mirrors of Rasulullah. And the Sunnah we take from Rasulullah is the Sunnah we take from the Imams. And that's why they are all a hujjah on us. And our hadith come from the Imams. So if Imam al-Baqir said something, it's just as binding on my neck as if Rasulullah said something. If Imam al-Rida told me advice or gave me a hukum, it's the same as Rasulullah giving me a hukum. So we take our ahkam, we take our knowledge, we take our aqaid from all the imams over 200-300 years. That's why we didn't need usul and these fields of knowledge like other schools did, because they didn't have any more hujjas at the time. When Rasulullah passed away, that's it, it was over. They had to go to normal people to seek their knowledge, and they have their 4 madhabs and they have their scholars. Whereas with us, we started late because we had 200 to 300 years of the Ma'soom teaching us, and we still have those teachings with us, alhamdulillah. But according to this understanding of history, this doesn't make sense. Our idea doesn't make sense anymore, because then Imam Hassan is different to Imam Hussain and Imam Ali alayhi salam. So this is what I want to say. There is no default interpretation of reading history. If you have been watching my history series, or if you've taken a course with me before, then you would know that in the first lesson, we always speak about reading history and there being hundreds of conflicting reports for various events, and this is normal and fine. And what one has to do is they have to discern the different facts and circumstances and narrations in order to bring forth an analysis and conclusion. But that analysis and conclusion will always be affected by the khalfiyya of the person. It will always be affected by the background knowledge that the person is coming with. It will always be affected by a belief system. This is true for anyone. There is no default position. When we come to Tariq al-Tabari, the book al-Tabari that everyone relies upon, that so many events that people speak about have taken from this book, we notice that al-Tabari himself, the scholar, was not even a historian. He was a theologian. And that's why you will find there are many things in the book that contradict his theology, but there are also many things that he omits that contradicts his theology. And I have no doubt that he does that because it contradicts his theology. Likewise, when my history teacher many years ago was teaching me about these points, and when I would read his book, and his book is a Shia narrative, and I'd said, Shaykhna, you know what you said about al-Tabari, that his theology affects his reading of history? He said, yes. I said, well, don't you do the same thing? He said, طبعا. And I said, is that okay? And he said, there's no other way, Habibi. Then if you don't want to take your theology, which one are you going to take? If you want to claim there's an objective reading of history, it can't be, because whatever you're claiming to be objective also has to be a position that you have to prove and rely upon. In our societies, let me give you an example. Right now, someone believes in the Qur'an. When they believe in the Qur'an, they see that the Qur'an told us that the Roman Empire will fall. We say this is a divine prediction. But what happens when someone doesn't believe in the Qur'an? They have to explain this. If someone does not believe that the Qur'an is the word of Allah, they have to explain this somehow. What would they say? They'll say, this is something that was written after and then was included in the Qur'an, for example. It's not a divine prediction for sure. They'll find a way to explain it, and without wanting to cause offense all the time, but they'll just don't believe it. Their theology affects it. That doesn't mean it's objective. It's not objective what they said, because they're also on a position now where the Qur'an is not the word of God. We're in a position where the Qur'an is the word of God. So our analysis is going to differ. What is the deciding factor between them and I? Facts. We have to look at facts and circumstances and bring evidence, and then we bring conclusion. So please don't misunderstand me and think it's simply he said, she said. There are facts that one has to analyze, and we see. So if we want to go and prove the Qur'an and it being a divine book, there are many facts that one can prove outside of the Roman prediction. The Roman prediction comes later, after we've established it, perhaps. Okay. When in our societies now, when people want to come and they, from the very beginning, they don't believe in God, or they don't believe in prophethood, they don't believe in miracles, that's a position. So whatever they are analyzing is coming from this khalifiyya. It's coming from this methodology. It's going to affect the conclusion. But that conclusion is not more objective than mine. That conclusion is not the default position. They are arguing from a certain position, just like I am. But I'm going to prove my point, and they are going to try to prove their point as well. And then we come with our evidence. That's why we say from the very beginning, brother, prove this to me, prove that to me, and then you have to go and prove Allah. Why? Because your aqidah from here is naqsa. It's naqisa because what you're saying needs proof of God first. I can't prove this to you without proving that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala exists first. Anything. Yani I can come up with causes for you. I can try to come up with intellectual causes, let's say, and reasons, and explain to you why this is better or this is not beneficial. But ultimately, in Islam, God said so. Ultimately, of course, God says so for reasons, and sometimes He tells us those reasons, and sometimes He doesn't. But when He doesn't tell me the reason, I can't tell you the reason. But because I believe in Allah, I believe in this hukum. If you don't believe in Allah, then you're not going to believe in the hukum. It's not simply he said, she said, because if I prove God exists, then the hukum is binding. So I believe the point now became clear. It's the same with history. Everyone comes with a khalfiyya. When it comes to this khalfiyya, the conclusion will change. So then how can we answer the question? What's the answer to the question? That are they all inspired by one principle? Let's go to the facts. There are two facts that I want to focus on that I believe prove Imam Al-Hassan alayhi salam to be the greatest argument as to why there is divine leadership in Islam, and it should not be left to the Muslim Ummah to decide who is the leader. By the mainstream, let's say, the non-Shi'i understanding of these personalities, of Ali, Al-Hassan, Al-Hussein, we can all agree that Imam Ali alayhi salam would remain upon what he believed was right. We can all agree. Now, if you want to say he was stubborn, and I want to say he was principled, let's put that aside for a moment, the reasons behind why he believed something was right. But we can all agree that he would go to the absolute end for something that he believed was the correct thing to do, right? Okay. If we both believe that Imam Ali alayhi salam would do everything in his power to do what's right, then I have to ask myself, why did he believe so much in giving his successorship to Imam Al-Hassan? That's a question that I have to ask. Because Imam Ali, the way he would speak about Imam Al-Hassan, I wanted to read this narration because it's a beautiful narration. It's a letter that he wrote to Imam Al-Hassan alayhi salam. And this shows their closeness, how close they are. Subhanallah. And he says, وجدتك بعضي بل وجدتك كلي كأنما أصابك أصابني. I saw and I found that you are a part of me. No, you are all of me. It's almost as if whatever happens to you, it happens to me. It's so beautiful. So beautiful. He writes these love letters to his son. He writes, it's a long letter, you should read it. And he says, may this letter stay with you after I leave. After I perish, this letter remains for you. He's telling him, you are me. Imam Ali says to Al-Hassan, this is the most love one can get. When you say, you're me, you're a part of me. As Rasulullah would say to Sayyidah Fatima, she's a bid'ah of mine. Bid'atun minni. She's a part of me. Whatever hurts her, hurts me. It's very reflective. It's the same words that he uses here. Subhanallah. Yani, the same way Rasulullah would use the words for Fatima alayhi salam, Imam Ali would use the words for Al-Hassan. And Rasulullah would use the words for Al-Hassan Al-Hussein. As we mentioned in the beginning. قوله قولي أمره أمري. When he said to Imam Hussein alayhi salam, أنا Hussein minni wa ana min Hussein. It's always from me, as if they are fused together. They're all one. Okay, if Imam Ali alayhi salam is this very harsh personality, then question, why did he not appoint Imam al-Hussein to be the leader after him? If he is the one like him. Do you know there's a narration that they believe in that says Imam Ali alayhi salam said that Hussein is like me, but Hassan is on his own way, fabricated. When we come, we see that Imam al-Hussein, this is what's very important, a point to analyze. Imam al-Hussein not once went against his brother al-Hassan. He was always on his side, not once disagreeing. If Imam al-Hussein is so harsh and so firm upon what's right, and Imam Ali is so firm, and they saw that Imam Hassan was not, then why would they both not say, this is not for you? Why did they both believe in him to the maximum? Why did Rasulullah believe in him to the maximum? There is no consistency in the other idea. There is consistency here when it comes to these narrations that we're speaking about, that you are a part of me. Ma asabaka asabani. What happens to you happens to me. What hurts you hurts me. Imam al-Hussein not once said that he was supposed to be the rightful heir. He did not claim that I should be the one, I'm more like you, father, let me lead Islam. Never. Even though Imam al-Hussein was apparently unflexible and Imam Hassan was pragmatic, yet he never argues for a position. In fact, when Imam al-Hassan makes the treaty with Muawiyah, what does Imam al-Hussein do? Does he stay in Kufa or does he go with Imam al-Hassan? He goes with Imam al-Hassan. Imam al-Hussein was an obedient follower. It's hard for you to hear that, huh? Imam al-Hussein was an obedient follower of Imam al-Hassan. An obedient follower of Imam al-Hassan. Imam al-Hassan was Imam al-Hussein's Imam. Abu Abdullah's Imam. He was with him, he was his follower, and Imam Ali alayhi salam didn't go towards appointing Imam al-Hussein instead. That's the first fact. The second fact is that when it comes to Rasulullah and his death, we have hundreds of contradictory stories and narrations about what happened that makes people confused. But when it comes to Imam Ali alayhi salam, there's no confusion. When he was on his deathbed, he made it very clear. He said, "Qum my wasi." He came. He said, "Ya Hassan, you are my wasi after I die. And it's an obligation for me to give it to you. And after you die, it's an obligation for you to give it to Hussein." Khalas. No, he said, she said, nothing. And everyone saw, and everyone agreed, and there's not one scholar, not one Sunni scholar that says otherwise. If you want to be confused over Imam Ali, did Imam Ali accept what happened after Rasulullah passed away? Was he happy with the first Khalifa or was he not? Let's just look at what Imam Ali practiced. Because otherwise, if we look at all these narrations, I might become confused. But let me see what Imam Ali practiced. Imam Ali practiced on his deathbed. He shows us what he believes. He didn't say, Muslim Ummah, make a council and choose. He called his son, his wasi, and said, you are the Khalifa now. And Hussein is after you. Obligation on me and obligation on you. This is an argument to show what Imam Ali alayhi salam believed to be the way in which leadership was supposed to take place in Islam. This shows that he was not pleased with what happened. If you don't want to accept everything else that happened after the Prophet passed away, you can at least say Imam Ali alayhi salam was not pleased. He did not accept, he did not recognize that leadership. He did not recognize it. He wasn't right. As Rasulullah said to Imam Hassan al-Hussein, Antuma imaman. You are both imams. Whether you sit, you're an imam, and whether you stand, you're an imam. Whether they ruled, they are imams, and whether they were oppressed, they are imams. Whether there were kings around them, they are imams. And whether there were no kings, they are imams. It didn't matter if anyone recognized it or not. It wasn't the Khilafah by votes. It was a divine right because they were the heirs to the divine leadership given by Allah, the divine authority. They were the heirs to the knowledge of the Prophet. And they are the way in which Rasulullah passed his nur, he passed that torch through them. And so we understand that there is one principle that they all live by, and there is consistency between them. And Imam al-Hassan was the closest to Imam Ali alayhi salam. وجدتك بعضي بل وجدتك كلي. والحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين.
أحسنت Sheikh Sayyid. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Habibi. If you want, message me, and then I can read
Okay.
your messages, so I know what's happening.
Okay, so I'm just messaging Sayyid right now to thank him, and I'm going to just ask him to go have his iftar because we've kept him long enough. So just bear with me.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Thank you so much. God bless you all.
That was a very, very strong and insightful lecture by Sayyid Hassan Makke. For those who have joined us late, you can, inshallah, come back to Facebook or YouTube a little bit later on, and you'll be able to then see the live stream. So I'm just going to see where Brother Ali is. I think Brother Ahmad Al-Moalem had to leave us. I'm just going to see if Ali can join us. Okay. Assalamu alaikum, Ali.
Alaikum again. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Bismillah. Is it clear?
It's very, very clear. Alhamdulillah. Okay, so Brother Ahmad is not with us anymore. So
Yeah, he had to
inshallah,
leave, unfortunately. It wasn't planned, but we're very close to the iftar time here, so yeah,
inshallah,
he had to leave.
inshallah, Ali, you can bless us with one more recitation and dua al-faraj, and then we can end and allow people to go and have iftar and start preparing.
Inshallah. I just wanted to put a few comments here. So in the beginning, I tried to recite a nasheed that's called Ramadan. It's my latest nasheed. It's out there on every single streaming service. You can find it on Spotify, YouTube, etc. And after that, I recited Light of Rida, which is written by my brother Nuri Sardar. We send him a salam from here. And the last one we recited is a cultural, folklore, old mix of a few nasheeds of Shahr Ramadan. They are basically from the Sham area, so يعني بلاد الشام, Lebanon, Syria, Palestine, Jordan, kind of cultural nasheeds. We mixed them together and made them to one song, and they are called the Ramadan Trio because we actually recited with another friend whose name is Ramin Muradi, but he's not with us today. And now I'm gonna repeat the Ramadan song because it didn't work out in the beginning with the microphone. We had some issues with the sound, so I'm inshallah gonna re-recite it right now. Just let me know if you can hear me clearly. Seems like you can.
We can hear you very clear. Hassan, Bismillah.
I welcome the guest with utmost delight, for I know it's here to bring respite, a gift from God that shines bright. Ramadan Shahrullah. Starlight and love fills the air. Your starlight spreads love everywhere, bringing us joy every single year. Ramadan Shahrullah. رمضان والوجد ورد أرجوان. رمضان كف من الغيب حنان. Have you any clue this could be? Yes, it's Ramadan, the month of mercy. The pious and righteous can't wait to meet Ramadan Shahrullah. A feeling of joy now fills my heart as the month of Ramadan will start. So let us pray and praise God. Ramadan Shahrullah. You put smiles upon every face and help us feel your holy grace. You enlightened once with your embrace. رمضان شهر الله رمضان والوجد ورد أرجوا رمضان كف من الغيب حنان I welcome the guest with utmost delight, for I know it's here to bring respite, a gift from God that shines bright. Ramadan shahrullah. Starlight and love fills the air. Starlight spreads love everywhere, bringing us joy every single year. Ramadan, Ramadan, شهر الله. صلوات. اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد.
Ahsant, Habibi Ali. That was a beautiful recitation, and the
Thank
sound
you so much.
really, really clear.
Thank you so much.
It definitely made up for the first time.
Thank you. I just want to throw a comment. If I would love it, it would be my honor if people would follow me on my pages on Facebook and Instagram. They're called Ali Al Hadi DK. Very simple. Inshallah, if Brother Qasim can provide you the username in the comment section. Thank you so much. And thank you so much for having me here. It's a pleasure to be around my brothers, my good friend and brother, Qasim Abboud. Thank you so much for inviting me. Thank you to our beloved brother, Ahmad Al-Moalem, an old friend of mine, and to my brother on the half of my heart, brother Hussain Makke. And yeah, again, thank you for having me here. It's a pleasure. And Mawled Mubarak to you all, inshallah.
So inshallah, we can then end this program with Dua al-Fajr. If you can bless us with the Dua, Habibi.
Of course. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم اللهم صل على محمد وآل محمد اللهم كن لوليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين وصل اللهم على سيدنا محمد وعلى آله الطاهرين.
Thank you, brother, once again for blessing us with that beautiful voice. We say salams to you, and inshallah, we'll see you soon.
تقبل الله أعمالكم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله.
Wa alaikum assalam. Brothers and sisters, thank you for tuning in for Mawlid Imam Al-Hassan. We do apologize at the beginning. There was a bit of technical issues with the sound. Inshallah, we made up for it with Sayyid Hussain Makki's beautiful talk and the beautiful recitation by Ahmad Al-Moalem and Ali Al-Hadi. Do follow their pages for more material, inshallah. And for those who don't know, we are running a regular Thursday program. You can check out the program on our Facebook page, and a regular Sunday program. So inshallah, tomorrow between the hours of 7 and 8, we have Sheikh Ahmad Kaouri, who will be giving us a deep discussion around Dua Makarim al-Akhlaq. So a very, very interesting and deep topic. Make sure you do tune in. And with that, I know that people are now starting to prepare for iftar, at least in the UK. Assalamu alaikum. Thank you for tuning in. Please keep us in your dua. Keep the reciters and Sayyid Hussain Makki in your dua. And we end with Surah Al-Fatiha for our marhumin and al-shuhada. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Brothers and sisters, Assalamu alaikum.